We find that in the Gospel of Mark, most of the things that are dealt with from Mark 1 to 16 are mostly repeated in the Gospels of Matthew and Luke, and also partly John. Now, Mark's message addresses to the Gentiles, and is portraying majorly the actions that Jesus went through. It talks about the divine capabilities of Jesus. And when we study through the book of Mark, we see all the actions. And even through this chapter, we see the action-packed presentation of different events that Jesus performed during his 3-year ministry. Now, one, we see the miracles that Jesus performed in healing the sick and also controlling nature and battling with the different spiritual principalities that Satan had against his people. In Mark's theme, that talks about the suffering of a servant come through as a narrative of Jesus' interactions with the hostile doubters. So we see when we study through this chapter 3, we are faced with the circumstances that are surrounding Jesus' ministry, where we find the Pharisees, the Jewish spiritual leaders, opposing Christ's ministry. And we see in chapter 9, verse 3, that because of their opposition to Christ's ministry and the fears that they were facing because of the threat that Christ had, poured over them, they hatched a plan and a desire that Jesus would be killed. So we see Jesus faced opposition in many ways. He had many who doubted him. That comprised of his neighbors. That comprised of those who were belonging to his family. Those who perceived to be knowing the law. Those who perceived to be knowing God more did not agree with him. However, because of the power of God that prevailed in him, we see that Jesus overcame all this opposition. So we see that the main picture that we see that Jesus, even demonstrating to his disciples